All right. So it's 8 o'clock and we are about to start. Hello, this is Alysson and I'm taking over Women Techmakers channel until 9 p.m. to host this webinar entitled Python for the Curious. The target audience are those who haven't tried using Python before. So it's either you already know how to code in another language or you don't have any programming experience yet. But of course, everyone is welcome to join. Just a bit of my background. I work as a software engineer and off work, I volunteer for tech communities. I am currently the Python tech lead of Women Who Code Manila, the treasurer and the board member of Python Philippines, and a board member of PyLadies Manila. If you've noticed, most of my community engagements advocate for women in tech and Python. This is actually my first time live streaming. So, as much as I am excited, it's really, really nerve wracking. It's also my first time using a live streaming software, so I'm still trying to get the hang of it. Anyway, kamusta naman ang buhay sa bahay? And do we have any non-Filipino participants? Just so I know if it's okay to speak in Filipino. Let's check. Oh, wow. I was actually expecting around 20 participants or less, but we currently have about 50 people watching. Okay. So while I'm setting some stuff up, can you guys let me know if you're where you're currently located? I am currently based in Dasmariñas, Cavite in the Philippines. Just post a comment sa comment section. I think it's on the right side. Oh, oy. Hi, Romel. And Denise. Okay, so we have people from Indang Cavite. Hi, Caviteño din. We have people from Zamboanga, Malabon, Baguio. Oh, okay. QC, siyempre, Metro Manila, Bulacan. Nice. Okay, so ang dami natin. Maraming from Cavite. Ah, it's actually a bit unexpected pero nice. Okay. All right. So again, welcome to the first, I guess, episode of Women Techmakers Manila's webinar series, Python for the Curious. Just to set our expectations, here are the things that I'll talk about during the next couple of minutes or so. So, ito yung mga pag-uusapan natin. I'll start off with introducing Python. What is it? What's it used for? Who uses Python? Why should you learn Python? And just a couple of interesting trivia and stats. Okay? After that, we'll get started with the setup and installation, and of course, running your first Python script. Then I'll show you its basic syntax and some simple demos lang. And finally, we'll talk about learning resources and the ever-beloved open source community. Alright, so ito basically yung coverage ng webinar natin for tonight. If you have any questions or comments, comment lang kayo. Nababasa ko naman siya. Alright. So, Python is a programming language created by Guido van Rossum, also known as BDFL or Benevolent Dictator for Life, until he stepped down from his position I think it was July 2018. So, One of the most common misconceptions about Python is the origin of its name. Python was not derived from the python snake. Hindi po siya galing dun sa snake. Even though ang logo niya ay blue and yellow na snakes. It was named after Monty Python, which is a British comedy troupe. Okay, so dun siya galing, sa Monty Python. If you're not familiar, pwedeng i-search nyo na lang. It was first released around 1991, but it's really interesting how it didn't gain traction until 2012, which was more than 2 decades earlier. So imagine, 1991 pa siya unang nirelease, pero 2012 lang siya talaga sumikat because of, as some of you might have guessed it, data science. So Python can be used for a lot of things, some of which are the following. So, syempre, pwede siya gamitin for scripts. Pwede siyang gamitin for web development. Usually, web development yung pinaka-use ko talaga sa Python. There are a couple of nice web development frameworks such as Django and Flask. And as mentioned, pwede siyang gamitin for data science and machine learning. Pwede rin siyang gamitin for robotics, so using Raspberry Pi and other sensors. Pwede rin siyang gamitin panggawa ng games using Pygame, though I haven't tried it before. I've only tried RenPy, which is visual novel creator na based sa Python, and it can also be used to create mobile applications. So meaning to say, should you decide to learn Python, maraming paths na pwede mong i-try after. Okay. So, now sino-sino ba ang gumagamit ng Python? Here are some known companies that use Python. We have Google, we have Facebook, Dropbox, Spotify, Netflix. I think IBM also uses Python. And especially here in the Philippines, there are a lot of companies that use Python. Software companies, manufacturing companies, data science firms, startups, even non-tech companies, etc. So in terms of job opportunities, mataas ang demand ng Python developers. In fact, according to Stack Overflow, Python has a solid claim to being the fastest growing major programming language. So, familiar ba kayo sa Stack Overflow? Ayan. For those who aren't familiar with Stack Overflow, it's a Q&A site for programmers. Basically, if you have a programming-related question, you can ask it sa Stack Overflow. Pero more often than not, naitanong na din siya ng ibang tao. So, if you try to search sa Google, for example, most likely, may lalabas na result na galing sa Stack Overflow. It's actually good practice to search for the things that you don't understand or kahit nakalimutan mo lang, lalo na sa programming. We are not expected to memorize everything, lalo na yung syntax. So, don't be embarrassed or feel frustrated kapag may nakalimutan ka. Actually, Guido posted a tweet some time ago. May sinearch daw siya na parang basic Python syntax sa Stack Overflow. Hindi ko lang maalala kung ano yung exact keyword na sinearch niya, but this goes to show that even the creator himself looks up stuff na di niya maalala, and that's perfectly okay. So, going back, this chart came from Stack Overflow Trends. It shows the percentage of questions over time of the top 5 programming languages para hindi siya madumi, yung top 5 na lang yung kinuha ko with the most number of tags. So, pag nagtatanong ka kasi sa Stack Overflow, merong mga tags yun para ma-identify kung tungkol saan yung tinatanong mo, para may categories sila. So, mapapansin nyo dito na etong around 2009, mataas yung C#, And then, katulad nung the rest ng mga ibang programming languages, over time meron siyang nakikitang steady decline. While eto namang Python, yung color orange, from 2012, steady na pataas siya ng pataas. Okay, so yun yung trend niya. Also, may kino-conduct ang Stack Overflow na annual developer survey. Last year, there were about 90,000 developers who participated in the survey, and ito yung key points na related sa Python. Ayan, so most popular technologies, kinuha ko lang yung top 10 pero mahaba yung listahan talaga nito. You can see here na yung Python is nasa 4th and tumaas siya kasi nung 2018, this is the 2019 result kasi. Nung 2018, nandito lang siya sa baba ng Java and ng Shell. So na-overtake niya na yung dalawa in a matter of 1 year at nandito na siya sa 4th place ngayon. I think it's also a reflection na mabilis talaga yung pag-grow ng Python over the years. So, another key result is itong most loved, dreaded, and wanted na languages. Okay, so most loved na language refers dun sa mga developers or mga programmers na gumagamit nitong mga technologies nito and very satisfied sila dun sa paggamit nila. So, top 1 yung Rust. I think 4 years in a row na top 1 ng Rust, followed by Python. But I think it's also interesting to note na although second yung Python, around 42% ng mga respondents gumagamit ng Python. So malaking chunk ng respondents gumagamit ng Python while I think around 3% lang yung sa Rust. So meaning to say, kahit na ang dami gumagamit, kahit na malaki yung sample size natin for Python, majority sa kanila, they still find Python lovable. And gusto pa rin nila yung language na yun. So, skip na natin yung dreaded kasi hindi naman kasama ang Python sa dreaded languages. Ito yung mga most wanted languages. Top 1 ang Python and malaki ang difference niya dun sa mga sumunod sa kanya. Wanted na language means parang aware yung mga developers na nag-e-exist yung Python pero hindi pa nila natatry and gusto nilang itry. So, about 1/4 ng mga nag-respond, gusto nilang matry Python. Sorry. So, aside from its growth rate, another reason to use Python is because it's beginner-friendly. Back in college, I think one of the primary reasons why I fell in love with Python at first try was because of its syntax. Sobrang simple niya, sobrang dali niya intindihin compared to the ones I've tried before, allowing me to focus more on the logic of what I'm trying to do. And para sa isang estudyante, that's a pretty big deal. Kasi syempre, inaaral ko pa lang yung logic at that time. And ayun, sobrang helpful niya. So as proof, Python is actually the most popular introductory programming language used by top universities in the US. So ito yung examples na meron ako. MIT, Introduction to Computer Science and Programming Using Python. I think this is course 6.00. And then CS50 ng Harvard. So sikat tong CS50 ng Harvard. I think before they were using C, pero later on they switched to Python. Ayan. So, yung dalawang binigay kong examples, these are both available through edX. edX is a MOOC or Massive Open Online Course Provider. So, pwede mo siyang i-edit, pwede mo siyang i-audit for free and may bayad lang if you want to have a certificate. Okay, so may pros and cons ang pagkakaroon ng certificate. Pero at the very least, you can access this courses for free kung gusto nyo lang siya matutunan. So the site is edx.org. You can check it maybe after this webinar or kahit during this webinar. Okay. So lastly, another reason to use Python is its versatility. Since Python has been around for so long, sobrang dami na ng available na packages. There's literally a package you can use for every purpose. For example, if you want to crunch numbers, vectors, matrices, you can use NumPy. If you want to do calculations for tech and engineering, you can use SciPy. If you want to manipulate and analyze data, you can use Pandas. Whatever computational task you're trying to manage, chances are there's already a Python package for it out there. There's actually still a lot of reasons to use Python, but the things I've mentioned are those which convinced me to use it. Ayan. So, now that we're done with the first part, dito na tayo sa setup and installation. Do you have any questions? Okay. To get started, dalawang bagay lang yung kailangan mo. Python and a text editor. So to install Python, just go to python.org/downloads and download the latest stable release. So ngayon, Python 3.8.2 siya. You can also download the previous releases from the downloads page. But if you're just starting out, it's recommended to install the latest version first. So pwede nyo na siyang itry as we go along. Another thing to remember is to download Python 3 and not Python 2. So magkaiba kasi yung Python 3 sa Python 2, and Python 2 has been sunset since January 1, 2020. So since this year, meaning it will not be supported anymore and will no longer be updated even if someone finds a security issue. So if, for example, you're attending this webinar because you wanted to learn more about Python kasi ang nasa work nyo ay Python, and then you discover na Python 2 pala yung ginagamit ng company nyo, I think it would be good na i-recommend nyo na mag-migrate na sila to Python 3. I won't dwell on this too much, but if you want to know more, check out python.org/docs/sunsetpython2. So, ito yung screenshot ng buong document. Diyan niya ina-explain yung reason kung bakit nag-sunset and so forth. Alright. So, once na na-download nyo na yung Python installer, buksan nyo lang siya, tapos follow nyo yung installation wizard. Next lang yun. Don't forget to check yung add to path. Pagbukas nyo yung installation wizard, nandun siya sa first part, tapos nasa baba lang siya, nakalagay add to path. Check nyo lang yun. To check kung successfully na-install nyo na yung Python, magbukas lang kayo ng terminal, or if you're using Windows, command prompt, select nyo lang yung window key and then search nyo CMD or command prompt, tapos lalabas na siya. And then, i-type nyo lang Python space -- version. So, dapat i-display nito kung ano yung Python release version na naka-install sa computer mo. As for the text editor naman, you can actually use any software as long as it allows you to edit text. Kahit Notepad, okay lang. I mean, as in, pwedeng Notepad. But I recommend installing either VS Code or Sublime or Atom kasi it has a lot of helpful features. For VS Code, just go to code.visualstudio.com/download. Or pwedeng i-search nyo na lang sa Google yung VS Code. Download the installer, same procedure lang, buksan nyo siya, and then next lang sa installation wizard. Of course, if you're planning on learning more about Python, it's really recommended na mag-install ka na ng Python and text editor on your computer. However, if for some reason you're unable to do so, say for example, you're currently using a mobile device, sa phone ka lang nakakonect ngayon, you can use an online IDE like repl.it. So, punta ka lang doon, repl.it, and then lalabas tong screenshot na to. Tapos, select Add New REPL, nandun sa top right. Tapos, select nyo yung Python. Kasi pwede nyo actually iselect yung iba pang mga languages kung gusto nyong mag-try na online lang. And then, create REPL. So, this instantiates an online Python interpreter where you can code. Um, of course, it has its limitations. Iba pa rin talaga pag locally installed. But if you're only going to use it to study the basics, then it would work just fine. So, okay lang naman yun. Alright, so now that we're all set, try na natin mag-code. If you're using a text editor, just create a new file and type in print, tapos open and close parentheses, tapos naka-enclose siya sa double quotes, "Hello, Women Techmakers." So, pwede rin namang single quotes, pero pwede ring double quotes. Basta dapat pareho sila. Either parehong single quotes or parehong double quotes. Ito lang yun. Print, hello, Women Techmakers. Save mo siya sa desktop mo or wherever you want to save it as hello.py. So, hello, ito yung pangalan ng file mo. Pwedeng iba yung ipangalan mo, ikaw bahala. Pero for simplicity lang, hello. And then .py, yung mga Python files kasi, gumagamit sila ng .py na extension. So, pag nakakita ka ng file na merong .py sa dulo, ibig sabihin, Python na file yon. In your terminal or command prompt, punta ka dun sa location kung saan mo sinave yung file mo using the command cd or change directory command. Ayan, so cd space yung path dun sa file mo. Di ba kapag nag-open tayo ng folder for Windows users, nakalagay sa taas yung pinaka-location niya, yung C, users, ano ba yung desktop, ganyan. So, i-copy nyo lang yon and then cd, tapos yung path na yon enter. So, pagpunta nyo doon, the next step would be to enter Python space hello.py. Ibig sabihin, Python, paandarin mo yung hello.py, and i-display niya na yung Hello, Women Tech Makers. Ayan. So, ito yung dapat na makita natin na output. Okay. So, para lang makasunod yung mga gumagamit ng repl.it, itatry ko din siyang i-demo gamit yun. Okay, so mag-open lang ako ng repl.it. Ayan. So, dito tayo. Add itong plus tapos new repl. Python. Create repl. Pwede niyo akong sundan habang ginagawa ko to. And then dito sa part na to, dito yung code. Dito sa part na to, dito yung output. Kumbaga, ito yung text editor mo. Tapos, itong part naman na to, yung terminal or command prompt mo. So, yung example kanina, print, hello, Women Techmakers. Yan. So, dito, pwede mong i-click tong run or pwede ka ring mag-command enter, I think, to run yung program mo. And tada! Hello, Women Techmakers. Congratulations! Nakarun ka na ng isang line ng code. And it's as simple as that. Ganun lang kadali mag-run ng Python na code. Ayan. So, nakakasunod ba kayo? So, balik tayo dito sa slides natin. Alright. For now, we'll have a 10-minute break to give you time to install Python and a text editor. Since we have a time constraint, hanggang 9 p.m. lang tayo, if you encounter any problems, try to search for the answers online. Good practice din to ng paghahanap sa Stack Overflow. You can ask me, you can also ask me through the comment section if you can't figure it out. And if all else fails, just use REPL.IT for now, then we'll just work on the installation later. So to recap, we've introduced Python and how to get started. Then later on, when we resume by 8:35, we'll work on some simple Python scripts. So kung sakaling nagawa nyo na yung pag-i-install and pagra-run ng hello.py, pa-comment na lang dito sa comment section. Okay, so I'm currently checking the comment section, and we actually have almost 100 people watching right now. Yung last na check ko, 25, 'di ba? Okay, so comments. Masyado ba ako mabilis? Sige, bagalan natin. Sorry, and done. Oh, English only, please. Sorry, I didn't know that there's a non-Filipino participant. All right, I'll speak in English from now on. Have you guys finished installing Python? Hazel Noreen Castro. She's asking about the difference between Anaconda and Python. So Anaconda is a tool. It's a data science tool. Um, Basically, if you don't want to bother installing libraries that are commonly used in data science, you use Anaconda. Python, on the other hand, is the programming language. So you're actually using Python inside Anaconda. And even though Anaconda is a really amazing tool, you can still work on data science projects even without Anaconda. Joshua Sanchez, hopefully in the future, may tutorial din ng Python for web development. Sure. uh, I think we can do one. Maybe using Flask or Django. Miss Mina. Hi, Miss Mina. Will you be having more webinars after this? Um, I'm not yet sure, but I'm open to doing more webinars. Jerome Pagatpatan. So he's asking about the difference between R and Python in terms of data science. Um, Actually, I haven't tried using R, but as far as I know, R is geared more towards statistical analysis, while Python is um, more generic. But you can use both of them. Definitely, you can use both of them in data science. Sorry, I can't give you a more specific answer because I haven't tried that before, but um, I'll take note of that and maybe I can give an answer during the next webinar. Christopher Garcia, if newbie lang po sa Python, okay lang ba mag-start na agad ng Django? Um, Personally, I recommend studying the basics first because it's the foundation of everything that you'll be using. Although Django is uh, like a one pack solution that gives you everything you need, it's still important to know the basics because it will help you, especially as you build your project along the way. Anyway, you won't really take a lot of time studying the basics, and probably in just a couple of months, you can proceed with Django. Um, Ernest Jude Maape. Much easier ba ang syntax ng Python compared to Java or may similarities sila? I've only used Java while I was in college. So my experience wasn't very extensive, but um, definitely the syntax is a lot simpler because for example, if you're going to declare a function in Java, if I'm not mistaken, sorry, I really can't remember. It's public static uh, void main string args, something like that. But in Python, you just have to use the keyword def and then space the name of the function, and that's it. So it's definitely a lot simpler, at least in my opinion. But of course, Java and Python both has its pros and cons and can be used for different use cases. Rain Jaka, do you have any social media? I do. I have Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. Feel free to connect. Sir Kevin, Java is case sensitive, Python is more easy to understand. Actually, Python is also case sensitive. But the difference is, uh, again, the syntax is simpler. And uh, another thing, I guess, is loose typing. You use loose typing when it comes to Python. You don't have to declare the variables anymore. For example, I think in other programming languages, you have to declare if it's an integer or a string. In Python, you just declare the name of the variable. We'll talk about that later. Oi, Kim. Hi, Kim. All right, so we have 1 minute left. Were you guys able to finish installing and running hello.py? Okay. I guess I'll answer last question before I continue. Hazel, any tips for us to keep motivated on learning Python or any programming languages? I guess it depends on your personality type. If you're an extrovert, maybe it would work for you if you try to join study groups and meet other people with similar interests. If you're an introvert, um, actually, not just for introverts, I think for everyone, uh, I find it more motivating when I have a task that I have to do. So, for example, maybe you can think of a pet project that you want to do, and then you can uh, pattern your learning style based on the project. So, I guess that would keep me more motivated. Okay. So, balik na tayo sa sorry. So now, we'll start with the second part. Okay, so the second part is about Python basics, the syntax, input and output, and the data types. So a while ago, we tried using the keyword print, which displays an output. So whatever you want to display, for example, if you want to display a set of text, a set of characters, or a text, you use print. Now, the next concept that we have to learn is variables. Variables are basically containers. So they are very similar to containers in a way where, for example, you have a lunchbox and then you try to put something on that lunchbox. So that's similar to how variables work. In this case, our lunchbox is called name, and then the content inside is a string called Alysson. So the first data type that we learned is string. So strings are basically a set of characters or text that are enclosed in either single or double quotes. So for example, this one. So this line of code here basically means that I have a container name, and inside this container, I want to put the value Alysson. So now if I want to print hello and then the value of the name, I can do it like this. Print, and then inside it would be hello. So this is a string, and then comma and space. And then if you want to concatenate or join two strings together, just use the plus sign. There are actually a lot of ways in how to concatenate strings, but we'll just use this one first. So plus and then name. Basically, what it does is we have here name Alysson, and then when we say hello, and then we call on this name, it displays the value, which is Alysson. So hello, Alysson. I think it would be nice if you can also try it on your repo.it. You can also try changing the values. Okay, so I didn't know that my webcam was turned off. Okay, so I'll go back to repl.it. There you go. And then I'll try to do the example that I showed you earlier. So we have here Alysson, and then we have print and hello plus the name. So when we try to run this one, hello Alysson. Now, if I want to change the name, say for example, the person who was asking earlier, Hazel, if I run this, it would be hello Hazel. So, 'di ba ang simple lang niya? Um, now, uh, okay, so it's really tedious to switch from one tab to another. Instead of changing the code over and over again whenever I want to change the name, how about we ask the user for the input? So a while ago, we learned that the print keyword displays the string inside it. Now, input will will ask the users for an input. So it's very easy to understand naman, di ba? So ngayon, name equals Alysson, and then input, what's your name, and then print hello, and then plus name. So um, kindly try this on your uh, text editors. If you noticed, it's still displaying Alysson despite despite you trying to enter whatever after being prompted for your name. The display is still Alysson, and that is because we didn't change the value of the variable Alysson. And so to fix this, just put the input statement, the code block, and assign it to name. So this way, basically what we're saying is I have a container called name, and inside this container would be whatever you type in. So now when you try to print hello and then name, it would print whatever your input is. Yan. So simple lang siya, di ba? Were you guys able to do it? I'll share my repo.it. And so let's replace this with input and then what's your name? So when I try to run this, for example, Kim, enter. Hello, Kim. Okay, so what we've done here is a basic example of input and output. Do you guys have any questions so far? All right. So moving on. Now that we have the name of the user, I wanted to ask the user his or her name, and then I want to compare it with my age. So I'm currently 24 years old. Na-reveal yung age, no? So for example, we have age bot here, so 24. And then we have the age of the user, 15. I can print here age bot minus age user. So the thing is, you can actually do arithmetic operations within your code. So you can add them, subtract them, etc. But if you notice, the values 24 and 15 are not enclosed in double quotes. Why is that? It means that these two are not strings, these are integers or int. So this is the second basic data type that you have to remember. The first one is string, so it's a set of characters or a bunch of text which is enclosed in single or double quotes. And the second one is int or integer, and these are basically these are not real numbers. These are whole numbers. So it has a limit, but I forgot. But it's kind of big anyway, so it's okay for now. This is 24 and 15. Both of these are integers, and therefore you can do arithmetic operations on them. So when you try to run this, uh, it will subtract 24 from 15, and you should have 9 displayed on your terminal. So now, I just did the same here, but I saved it in a different variable. So we have here age diff, which is the difference between age bot and age user. And so basically what I wanted to do is to print, for example, the user is 15 years old. So the program will display, oh, you're 9 years younger than me. Oh, I forgot to put years, but it should be, oh, you're 9 years younger than me. Now you can try to copy this code and run it on your text editors. And when you try to run it, it would actually have an error because you're not allowed to add string and integer together. So I'll try to replicate that in REPL.it. So here we have um, age bot equals 24. This is an integer. And then age user is equal to 15. And then print age underscore diff is equal to the age of the bot minus the age of the user. So here, oh, you're blank years younger than me. And then we'll just separate these two with double quotes. And then here, we'll add age underscore diff. So just to show you the error, so hello Ali, trace back. Type error can only concatenate string and not int to string. So what we're doing here is basically the value of this is 9, and you're not allowed to concatenate 9, integer 9. You can only do string 9. So what you do is uh, you use the keyword str or string. Basically, this is the keyword that we use to convert integers to string. So if I try to run this now, what's your name? Ali. And hello, Ali. Oh, you're 9 years younger than me. All right. So were you able to follow along? Okay, so now what I did here is instead of setting the value of age underscore user from the get-go, I replace it with an input. So the program will also ask you, how old are you? And then it will compare your age. However, if you try to run this, you can try it on your text editors. If you try to run this, you will encounter another error. It's also a type error because the default value, the default value of input is a string. So for example, when you entered 15, it will be read as string 15 and not integer 15. So now what you do is you uh, convert this string to an integer. So the keyword that you use, the command that you use is just int. So it's very simple. To convert an int to string, use str. To convert a string to integer, use int. So now if we try to run this, I'll try to replicate it on my REPL.it. So there you go. What's your name? John. Hello, John. How old are you? 15. Oh, you're 9 years younger than me. So were you able to do this? So I can see someone, Denise Bacarisas, using that format. Yep, you can also use that format. There are a lot of ways on how to format strings, and this is just one of them. Okay. So time check 8:51. We actually took more time than I intended. Um, anyway, since that's the case, we'll just keep the conditions. So uh, basically, as you go along, you learn. This is the last part. For example, here, what's your name? And then, how old are you? And for example, if you are older than 24, it will display, oh, you're blank years older than me. If you're younger, then it would be blank years younger than me. And it will also display if you have the same age. So I won't discuss this in detail anymore. And anyway, it's just easy to search this up. But basically, even if you don't have a background in programming, you can understand what happens here because Python is a high level programming language, and it's very similar uh, to the English language where you form sentences and paragraphs. So here, if the age bot is greater than age, you display this. Else, if the age of the bot is less than the user's age, you display this. And else, meaning if they have the same age, you print this one. That's it. So some of you might think that this is not something that has a practical use, but actually, you can just you can just uh, edit this a bit to make it something that would be more practical. For example, we are currently in quarantine, and for example, you wanted to create um, a tracker of people's temperatures. I don't know if that would be useful or not, but anyway, you can set normal body temperature, and then you can ask people, "What's your normal body temperature in Celsius?" And then um, if it's too hot, it will ask if you have a fever. If it's too low, it will say that your body temperature is lower than normal by something, and else it will say that you have a normal body temperature. Yay! So if you notice here, I'm using float instead of integer, and that is basically the third important data type that you have to remember, float. So float are basically similar to decimals. So as I've mentioned earlier, integers are whole numbers. So floats are the values with decimal points. Okay. So moving forward, these are the learning resources and the open source stuff. Okay, so if you want to learn more about Python, nothing nothing really beats the documentation from their official website, which is python.org. So you can go visit the documentation, and then there are documentations for beginners. There are a lot of tutorials and a lot of guides, and if you want to learn more about the standard library, everything is you can find everything here at python.org. So make sure to check it out. I think it's actually one of my uh, mistakes as a beginner in Python a couple of years back. I've been trying to look for a lot of tutorials and lot of articles and the like without even trying to look at the official documentation. So there you go. And however, if you're a fan of massive open online courses, for example, you're the type who learns more by taking online courses, having a teacher who discuss things, you can visit Udemy, Coursera, or edX. They all have really amazing Python tutorials there, most of which you can view for free if you just want to study it. But if you want to have a certificate, you can pay for a minimal fee. Now, if you're the type who learns more by doing rather than having or working on online courses, you can also try coding challenges. So we have Project Euler. This is a set of coding challenges that will really help you practice the basics. So I remember the person who was asking a while ago if he can skip to Django right away. Maybe you can try working on Project Euler first, and if you think you're comfortable enough with the challenges, then you can move on to Django. So there's also Hacker Rank. So this one is like a competitive coding challenge site. So there are rankings, and then there's a leaderboard. You can see who solved uh, a particular challenge faster than anyone else. So there, you can also try that one. Tech communities and events. If you're someone who wants to meet people with similar interests, or if you wanted to be updated with the latest tech community news, you can join different tech communities in the Philippines and even global. So, of course, the host of this webinar, Women Techmakers Manila, and then we also have GDG Philippines. They have a lot of events. It's not just Python, but also a variety of different topics. If you want to focus more on Python, we have Python Philippines. You can go to python.ph. And we also have PyLadies Manila, which is comprised of women members of Python Philippines. And lastly, we have Women Who Code Manila, who host study groups. Am actually I think I've mentioned this earlier, I am the Python tech lead of Women Who Code Manila, and we normally hold monthly study groups, and these are for free. Okay, so for events, python.org/events lists the different events that you can attend around the world. Although, since we're under quarantine right now, most of these events are canceled, I think. So PyCon US just announced that that the conference would be canceled. I'm not yet sure about the others, and hopefully there would be a way to maybe hold an online conference. I don't know, but just for your reference, you can visit this site whenever you want to look for a Python related event. And last but not the least is GitHub. So Python is an open source programming language, meaning it was made by the people for the people. It's very democratic. And you can view the whole code base of Python here, github.com/Python. And what's really nice about this is if, for example, you found a bug, or if there's an issue that you wanted to solve, or if there's a feature that you wanted to implement, you can propose it directly to them. You can submit your code. There are guidelines on proposing and on solving bugs, and then they can actually approve it. So that way, you are helping Python grow while Python helps you do the things that you want to do with your code. So it's a mutual relationship. So you benefit from each other, and at the same time, it's also helpful for other people. Ayan. And of course, if you wanted to hone your skills in Python, you can try contributing to open source projects. Okay, so I guess that's it. Did we finish on time? Yes, it's exactly 9 p.m. Thank you so much for attending this webinar. I hope that you learned a lot. Feel free to connect via LinkedIn, or you can shoot me an email at alvaran.allison@gmail.com. So before I go, I'll just check the comment section. Oh, okay. So we will be hosting more webinars for everyone. For updates, just go to facebook.com/WTM Manila. Okay, so I guess that's it. Again, thank you so much, and I hope you had fun. Bye, guys. Good night, and stay safe.